It's the Monday right after Noah Kahan's most recent album, The Great Divide, came out, and I have been listening to it on repeat all weekend long, as I know many of you probably have. So I wanted to make some jewelry to honor it because I just have felt like so moved by this album as I have by all of his music, and I've been thinking about ways that I can make little pieces that are inspired by it. So that's what we're gonna do today. For those of you who are new here, my name's Chloe. I'm a metalsmith. I make jewelry, and welcome to my studio. So for this album, he's released a lot of patches, which I thought was really cool for the different songs. And I use the patches to inspire the little charms that I'm gonna make for a charm necklace to have a few different songs on the charm necklace of his. So as you might know, the extended release version is called The Great Divide, The Last of the Bugs. And he's been teasing this album as The Last of the Bugs, The Last of the Bugs. This album's gonna come out when the last of their bugs leave their homes again. And so I knew that I really wanted to do something bug inspired, and one of the patches is a moth, and then I have a few other pieces of symbolism on here. So what I did was I actually put the patches onto a little Canva template, and then I printed them out on my label printer. And I know that these are not super legible, but it'll help me get the shape right, and then I can kind of riff on them from there, because the patches have a ton of detail. I'm not going to have all the detail that the patches have because I'm making them in teeny tiny little charms for a little tiny necklace, but I like the idea of getting the shape right. So I printed out the Great Divide patch, which is, let's see if I can get this to focus. So that's this stained glass window patch. And then this is from the song Doors. I think I'm just gonna do one of the doors, but that's what the patch had. It had 3 doors on it. Hang on, there we go. I also really liked this moth patch from the end of August. And then this was not a patch, but I really liked the idea of doing a little license plate for the song American Cars. He references 4CB3A as a license plate. And then last one, also not a license plate, but he has a song called Headed North that I really love and resonate with as well. So I printed out a little north-facing arrow. I might do a little riff on a ladybug too, but we might be getting crowded for a necklace. So we'll see how it goes with these, and then we can go from there. Also, just a disclaimer that this will definitely be a multi-day project. I'm doing this after work and after I fit in, moving my body, eating dinner, making dinner, all those fun things. So it's currently 8:50, and I'm probably just gonna get in 30 to 45 minutes of work on getting ready to start some of these, and then, I'll be back another day. All right, so to get started, like I said, I printed this out on my label paper. I love doing this because then I have a sticker essentially that I can just put onto my sterling silver to help me get the shape right of the thing that I want to make. And then I am gonna figure out what kind of details we want to put in here. Okay, I am back. I have been mulling over for the past couple of days how to add these teeny tiny little details into these teeny tiny little charms. Sewing is not my absolute favorite thing in the world, and I'm just not the most precise at it, if I'm gonna be honest with you, in these, especially for teeny tiny pieces like this. So I've just really been thinking it through how I can get this done. But I think I have an idea, and I'm really curious to see if it'll work. Okay, so I very recently have been trying to learn engraving, and it is not easy to do, but I'm wondering if I can just do some straight lines on this guy. It's hard to tell because the Sharpie line's still there. Definitely got a line in there. It's not perfect, but it's there. Let's see. Okay, I just really did not like how these little metal charms were turning out, and I did a hard pivot. I broke all my wax tools, and I kind of feel like this might be the way to go. I know it's hard to see on here because I drew in Sharpie, but I used my graver to carve my little door. And I'm kind of digging this. Like, it's gonna be a little funky, a little imperfect, but in like the best way. I don't know. I'm feeling like I might go this way and get these cast, which I think would be kind of cool. Okay, I'm coming at this pretty unconventionally, using some odd tools, but I'm not mad about it. I am using the tool that I use for flesh setting to write with. I never loved my handwriting, but okay. And I'm just coming back in with the graver to clean out some of this excess wax that got displaced. I know it's hard to see, but there's that guy. And then to add in some more of the license plate detail, I'm taking my little beading tools and just pressing that in the four like corners-ish area to where you would usually use a screwdriver to like screw in the license plate. And then last, I just want to go around the edges to soften them a little with this graver. Okay, couple things. First of all, you get to see the not so pretty side of my studio. I'm working on revamping this and hopefully it'll all look prettier soon. The garage is a disaster. Half my studio is the garage and half of it is my studio. So there's some brick wall happening behind me, not brick, concrete, whatever you want to call it. Thing number two, I majorly, massively pivoted. So I started out wanting to do this in sterling silver and wondering how I could get the little details on these guys. I would love to get better at hand engraving, but I just like a month ago started learning how to do this and it is incredibly difficult. So I pivoted to essentially like using my gravers in the pink wax as opposed to using my gravers on the silver, which I also think will be a really cool way to practice like how deep I should be pushing. Of course, it feels way different in wax than in silver, but like practice doing little curves and yeah, I don't know. So anyway, wax. I just got my pieces back from the caster. They definitely need some cleanup, but I am really excited about them. They are perfectly imperfect and just like kind of whimsical and fun. And I think that the pivot was the way to do it. So here we are. Want to see them? Let's start with the door, which is the first charm that I did. I'm obsessed with him. I'm trying to like show you these details. Let's see. Hard with the light. There we go. And then I did two ladybugs. This one is bigger than this one, and that's the reason that I did two. I wasn't sure what size I wanted it to be, but I did think it could be kind of fun if this guy is like the middle of the charm necklace, the bigger one, if it's just like the main statement piece. But I also wanted to get one cast in like a similar size to the rest of the charms, just in case I decided not to go that way. And then here's the license plate for C3BA. I love this one. It's kind of cool to have like my handwriting on it. Again, it needs a ton of cleanup, but once it's cleaned up, I think it'll look good. And then here's our headed north arrow. This one was probably like my least favorite of all of the charms, just in terms of how it turned out. But again, I think once he's cleaned up, he'll look good. whimsical, fun, little wonky in a good way. And then the last two are my favorite two. So we've got our little stained glass window. I just love the shape of this one and how fun it is. I love that it is using the shape from the patches, but like looks totally different. I also love the little stars that I kind of like engraved, or whatever you want to call it, carved into the wax. I think that it kind of mimics like the broken window, but in my head, I don't know, it's like a little star / broken window, whatever you want to call it. And then last but not least, we have our little moth guy with lots of fun little carving details on him. I used beading tools to get like the little circles on these guys. I also carved some little stars into him and then carved some fun little lines. So I am excited to clean these up and get them all shiny and fun. Although I think I might do a matte finish on them. We'll see. That feels more like Noah Kahan-esque than like this bright, shiny, like perfect silver. All right, safety first. Always remember your PPE. I'm struggling with like how to show you guys these. They're so tiny. Where to put the camera? I'm kind of mulling that over right now. The one thing I hate about wax casting is that there's usually like a pretty generous amount of time spent sanding off these little sprues where the sprue was attached, and I usually just like filter between all of my pieces because the pieces get too hot once I've been sanding one for too long. So I kind of like cycle between them until they're all done, if that makes sense. But this license plate is looking cute. Can't let you listen to it because copyright, but I've been listening to his album while making these pieces and just love it. Okay, so I've gone through each piece once with my pretty rough sanding bit. These are from Rio. The item number is 330561. I love these. I use them so much. They are not for delicate details. I will be coming back in with one of my black knife edge sanding bits for some of the more like delicate details. I was using this more just to get off some of the scratches and also to get off the little sprue placements on the back. So I think I'm gonna continue with getting the sprues off on the back. And like I said, I really do just like cycle between each piece as they get hot. Other people use like the finger grippies and stuff, which I should get at some point. I've just never purchased them. And sometimes I'll like hold it with a polishing cloth here so that it doesn't burn my fingers. And sometimes when I have enough charms like this, it's fine to just like cycle through the different ones while I am sanding off the sprues. I am so excited about these. They look so much better already. Here's the moth, the ladybug, and the headed north charm. I know it's kind of hard to see these. Jewelry YouTube is so hard since everything's so tiny. Let's see. And then it really does not want to focus on these. I'm trying my best. But here is the license plate, the door, and the stained glass, if I didn't drop anything anyway. And you'll be able to see the details of these so much more once I put patina on them. I know it probably doesn't translate into the camera super well right now since everything is all silver, but once I add the patina, it should come through. I've loved Noah Kahan's music for a really long time now. Maine, his Cape Elizabeth album, specifically the song Maine, I have had on repeat. And so just making like a cute little charm necklace and making like translating some of the music in some way into like another kind of art, I'm finding really meaningful and inspiring and just fun to do. And one other thing that I thought was really interesting is my caster noticed that like this is a totally different style from what I normally do, and they called it out and were like, looks nice, you know, like different style of work than usual. And it's just fun. Like, it's fun to play, it's fun to be inspired by different things than normal. And yeah, here's your cue to think about something creatively that you wouldn't normally do. Okay, and like I said, now I'm gonna come back in with my knife edge wheel. These are the Dedico silicone rubber polishers. The one that I have on my flex shaft right now is pretty worn out. So when you get them, they would normally look like this, which is why they're called a knife edge wheel. I think that I'll be able to start with this guy, but I do think for some of the super fine details, I'll need to swap over to a new one. But these are like kind of pricey and they wear down super quickly, so I try to use the worn down ones where I can. All right, into the tumbler they go, and then I can kind of decide from there how I want to finish them. Okay, they're out of the tumbler. They're looking really good. I'm really happy with them. I am gonna add some patina, and then I am going to rinse that off, and we're gonna try out a different finish for them instead of shiny, I think. All right, so this is what all the charms look like now, and then I am just gonna go neutralize them and then sand off the excess while we're testing out some new finishes. Okay, I got this like brownish reddish bit from Rio when I got my new Fordham. I actually don't know what it's called, so I'm gonna have to figure that out eventually because I really like it and I would like to buy a new one eventually. But I think that this is what I'm going to try to get that matte finish. And then, you know, if we don't like it, it's okay. And we can just refinish it shiny and go from there. Okay, I think I might need to re-patina them because just while I was making them like the matte finish, it did take off probably a little bit too much of the patina, but I love this finish. I don't think shiny is right for Noah Kahan. It's like too polished, too pretty. It's gotta be like perfectly whimsical, and I'm so happy with these. I don't know. Okay, here they are. I love them so much. Okay, and then the last step that I have for right now is to arrange these guys in an order and then attach them to my charm necklace. For right now, I'm just doing temporary attachments because I might want to get molds of these made. In the future, if I don't get molds of them made, I will definitely attach them with soldering and jump rings to the charm necklace. But for right now, I have these little bail, they're like snap-ons from Rio, and they're really easy and nice when you are like unsure what a final layout might be. So I was thinking, originally I was thinking the ladybug would be front and center, but I actually like I like the door and the moth, and I kind of like it. Let's try it. And it's no big deal if it's not the final layout because it comes off. Like, look how cute that is. I might space them out slightly more over time too, but I kind of like them close together. What do you think? I am so pleased with this project. If you liked following along for this, it would help my channel grow so much if you would like and subscribe down below, and I will see you for the next one.